So today we're going to talk about saddles, and I don't have any explicit advice for what saddle you should buy, or I'm not going to try to convince you to buy this particular saddle, but I do have one piece of unsolicited advice, and that is don't ever, ever, ever let someone mansplain to you at the bike shop that you need to buy this one particular saddle that is the best saddle of them all. Don't let anyone do that to you. So the first time I got a bike fit, I was having a lot of pain in my seat. For like an hour ride, I was just having like nerve pain. It was just hitting all of these pressure points that it definitely shouldn't have been hitting. And I was complaining about that to the bike fitter. And he was like, look, we got to change your saddle. And at the time I was running a Brooks Cambium. I think it was the C17 model, and I got it because I thought it looked really nice, and it is a really beautiful saddle, and I knew people who had that saddle and really, really liked it. And I was complaining about it to the fitter, and he was like, oh, no, this saddle's trash. You need the Celitalia Diva, which is a women's saddle. It's designed for people assigned female at birth, and he was adamant that this was the best saddle that I could buy as someone who identifies as a woman. He was like, don't look at any of those other saddles. I like listed off a bunch of them that I had looked at, including the Specialized Mimic, which is what I'm going to talk about in a minute. And he was like, no. All of these other saddles are trash. You need the Celitalia Diva. And so I was like, all right, I mean, I guess you know best. And I mean, this man went on and on about how great the saddle was and all the reasons why. And so I was like, okay. And I tried it. It was the worst fucking saddle I've ever had. I know people, don't get me wrong, I know people who really, really, really like this saddle, who works for them, and it's a great piece of equipment for other people's bodies. It does not work for me. It doesn't work for me in the slightest. I am so uncomfortable in that saddle. It's like worse than a cheap saddle. I don't know why. It never worked for me. And I was like, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it's me. Like maybe I like just don't have, I don't know, maybe there's just like not a saddle out there for me. And so I, started talking to a lot of my friends, and someone recommended the Specialized Mimic. And I put this on my single speed, and it is an absolute game changer. It's a saddle that I don't need to wear chamois in. I can ride for 20 miles in gym shorts or jeans or whatever, and I don't have any pain. It's a really nice feeling. And I liked it so much, I bought another one when they went on sale last week to put on my Crossbone Bora, and I'm really excited. I haven't put it on yet because it just came in, but I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked to have a much more comfortable ride. Right now on my Crossbone Bora, I'm running a Brooks B17S, which is a little bit shorter and wider. It's designed ostensibly for people assigned female at birth, and it is a comfortable saddle. However, I don't love it. It's broken in now, and it is relatively comfortable, but for really, really long rides, I have a lot of pain in my seat, and I want to try putting the Mimic on to see if it feels better. Now, I don't want to try to convince you to buy this saddle. This is not everybody's saddle, and I know people that this also hasn't worked for. And I also feel like a little bit reticent about talking about Specialized because they have done some really unsavory things as of late. So I do really like the saddle, but I don't really want to go deep into it, but I'm enjoying it a lot. Now, I wanted to talk about saddles in part because it can be really, really difficult to find one that works for you. And the thing about saddles, like tires, like I talked about a couple of weeks ago, they're really expensive. So when you buy one and you ride on it for 200 miles and you're like, man, this is just not for me, you're a little bit SOL because, okay, you can go sell it, but then you still have to buy another $100 to $200 saddle. It's just such a conundrum. And there are places out there, there are saddle libraries. I think there's one in Portland, maybe in Seattle. I will put a link in the description below because I can't offhand remember exactly what they are, where they are. But there are saddle libraries where you can rent a saddle for a certain period of time and try them out, and which was super nice. I wish we had those everywhere. But to find a saddle that really works for you, to really dial it in, you have to spend a shit ton of money, and it is so annoying. Either that, or you have to go through the rigmarole of asking people to borrow their saddles, or seeing if you can, get one on loan or something like that. And, I don't know what other means there might be if you don't have access to a lot of funds, or to something like a saddle library. And, for some people, getting the cheap saddle off of Amazon might work great for you, but I haven't found a really good budget friendly, budget friendly, something under $100 that works for particularly people who are assigned female at birth, because saddles that are designed for cis men feel terrible. It feels like, oh man, the pain that I have had because of saddles that are just not designed for my body is, yeah, it sucks. It sucks a lot. If you guys know of some saddles to maybe try out, to kind of test on this channel, let me know, because I would love to try different ones. I have found one that really works for me, but I would definitely try something else out on a different bike, or test it out for you guys if you're interested. So let me know in the comments below what saddle you run, and do you think that it's worth a shot? And bonus points if it's also a budget saddle. But the moral of this entire video is just don't let anyone mansplain to you how you should ride your bike, especially when it comes to the things that will make your ride most comfortable, and that is how you sit on the bike. And in general, don't let anyone mansplain things to you, especially in a bike shop. Nothing makes me rage more. All right, y'all. This was my rant about saddles. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like this content and you want to see more, please subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.